The Lewis family, which controls Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, is vying with the Premier League side's former chairman to win control of a new European Basketball League's $1 billion London franchise. The Athletic on Jed Spence, Rando Kolo Muani on his time at Tottenham, The Athletic on the Savinio situation, and Fabrizio Romano on Christian Romero. These are the daily Tottenham news headlines. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel to another edition of the Daily Tottenham News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. My name is Dorest Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Okay, so let's get into it. Sky News can reveal that the Lewis family is part of a consortium which has submitted an offer to buy the NBA's Europe's team in the capital. The Lewises have joined forces with the Checkits family, which has owned or invested in professional sports franchises, including Major League Soccer team Real Salt Lake and the NHL's St. Louis Blues. The third leg of the consortium is the Eccles family, which has helped develop sporting facilities and events connected to the 2002 Salt Lake City Winter Olympics and the 2034 Games, which is also held in Utah. People close to the situation confirmed that the triumvirate of families had tabled a bid for the NBA's London team. One intriguing subplot arising from the Lewis's involvement in the auction is that it pits them against Daniel Levy, the Spurs' former chairman, who left the club in an apparently acrimonious circumstances last year. Sky News have previously reported Mr. Levy's involvement in a consortium including Liberty Global and MSP Sports Capital, a former backer of McLaren Racing, which is also among the contenders for the NBA London team. Joe Lewis, who invested in Spurs in 2001 for a modest sum and has been since seen it grow into a multi-billion pound valuation, transferred his ENIC ownership to a family trust in 2022. Last year, he was reportedly pardoned by US President Donald Trump, having pleaded guilty to insider trading in 2024. A source close to the London Basketball Consortium said it combines some of the most experienced basketball and sports investors and operators globally. The source added that the group was supported by substantial institutional and private capital. Collectively, they represent a rare combination of basketball expertise, world-class sports ownership, experienced state-of-the-art venue development, capability and long-term capital, uniquely placed to support a franchise of this scale and ambition, the source said on Tuesday. Both the Checkits and the Eccles families own stake in Burnley FC, who were relegated from the Premier League last season. David Checkits has also held a number of senior roles across the NBA, while his family has been involved in the operation or revival of venues, including Madison Square Garden. The emergence of the consortium's involvement in the London NBA auction underlines the frenzy of capital chasing which has become one of the world's most sought-after sports franchises. In recent months, Sky News has revealed the bidders for the team or backers of offers include the Liberty Global Consortium, ABG, the owner of a stake in David Beckham's consumer goods stable, the Rubin family, which owns a stake in Newcastle United, and Nikesh Ura, the US technology billionaire who led the acquisition of English cricket's most lucrative 100 franchise. London has rapidly become the most highly prized of the 12 new NBA Europe outfits, which other teams based in cities such as Berlin, Manchester, Milan, Munich, Paris and Rome. The US National Basketball Association, NBA, wants to generate billions of dollars by selling the rights to the teams, with the first transactions expected in the coming weeks. Advisors to the NBA received indicative bids in late March for dozens of prospective investors ranging from private equity firms and football clubs to wealthy individuals and media groups. Owners of some of the contingent's biggest football clubs expressed an interest in other locations, including Real Bird Capital Partners, the owner of AC Milan, and Qatar Sports Investment, owner of the French League One side Paris Saint-Germain. NBA executives met with some of the bidders for the European teams in New York last month during the weekend of the World Cup final in which Spain beat Argentina. We have received significant interest from a range of prospective teams and investors for permanent franchise spots in the new league in Europe, backed by the NBA and FIBA. Mark Tatnam, NBA Deputy Commissioner, said in a statement earlier in the year. The level of engagement and scale of the bids reflect the marketplace belief in our proposed model and the enormous untapped potential for European basketball. Moving on in other news, The Athletic on Jed Spence. Tottenham Hotspur in talks with Inter about a deal for the defender Jed Spence. The fee discussed is €30 million, around £25.5 million. Fabrizio Romero on Jed Spence. Inter are set for club talks with Spurs for Jed Spence, with opening proposal to follow. Story from 2 days ago confirmed as Inter will try again for the English right wing back. Spence keen on the move, decision up to Tottenham on deal and conditions. Rando Kolo Mwani on his time at Tottenham Hotspur talking to Tutto Sport. There were several things that didn't work. For me, it was something more personal. I think my mind was a bit elsewhere. I wanted to return to Juventus. It also an episode in a player's career. Not every season can be positive. We can say that. For me, it was a year in which I learned something. I had injuries, my first injuries, but luckily I was able to recover from all of them. I think it's due to all these things, but now it's a new championship. It's a new chapter for me. So I think it's a new version of me, let's say. Fabrizio Romano on Savinho. The Savinho deal is still on. Manchester City to Tottenham. Spurs are working on it. The Athletic on the Savinho situation. Manchester City are looking for wingers, especially in the case Savinho joins Tottenham, but have found there are not many suitable options. The club passed on Yan Diamonde earlier in the window due to wage demands, and while they like Pedro Neto, Manchester City sources insist they have not made contact. Spurs boss Roberto De Zerbi on the summer transfer window talking to Sky Sports. In transfer market, we have not yet finished. The players who will arrive and then we start. We are looking forward to start another season with different results. The club has been great because they closed very, very important players. I think we have not finished yet. Okay, we spent the money, but other clubs made the same or more in the past. And to compete in the Premier League, you need first level of the players, the ambition. What I said, the ambition of the owner of the club, of the board, of the people who decide behind me are very important and very high. So we have to find the conditions to build a strong team, a stronger team than last season to compete again for the top of the table. Fabrizio Romano and Christian Romero. Atletico are now preparing a new official bid to send Tottenham to try to close the deal. The first bid was €30 million plus $5 million rejected. Atletico are returning to the table with a new bid. Then they hope to close the deal for Cuti. They sent a contract proposal to Cuti Romero, who gave the green light to the move. Now it's time for a financial agreement, length of the contract, salary, and all the rest. But the deal is completely on track for Cuti Romero. As of today, Barcelona are not going for Cuti Romero. This is a club decision. And finally, Tottenham are stepping up their interest and pursuit of Monaco and USA forward Valerian Balogun. And that's according to L'Equipe in France. So my thoughts on some of these stories in terms of the basketball, as long as that's not affecting what the Lewis family are putting into Tottenham Hotspur, then I'm not really interested in that. I hope that that's not the case. It sounds to me like that is a big market that they're going to get themselves into. And potentially, you never know, that could actually benefit Tottenham Hotspur as well. I don't know. We'll have to see how that pans out. But at this moment in time, that's not my concern. It's up to them what they do with their money, as long as it doesn't come from Tottenham to whatever basketball team this team gets called. Jed Spence, my only issue with this, I guess, realistically, is the fee, £25.5 million is a negligible amount for a player that has performed very well at the recent World Cup, who is buzzing and high on the agenda, can play both sides of the pitch, and can play left wing, right back, left back. You know, he's very, very versatile. If Roberto De Zerbi wants to sell him, then ultimately I will accept that. That's absolutely fine. I don't think it's the right thing unless we've got cover in that position, and I don't believe that Archie Gray is that cover. But for me, the biggest issue in any of this is the fee, because that kind of fee is ridiculous. But it's always going to be lower going from the Premier League to a league outside that. Kolo Muani, we guessed that was the case, wasn't it? His head wasn't in it. He didn't want to come to Spurs in the first place. He only come because he had to. And realistically, he should never have come, and we should have sent him back in January because it just wasn't working out. And he said there that his mind was elsewhere, looking to return to Juventus. We said it looked like that the whole way through it. So what a year wasted. You know, when you look at how João Palhinha put himself about and tried to support Tottenham, and he's one of the reasons why we stayed in the league, then it does make you wonder what kind of player he really is. So I'm glad to see the back of him, if I'm really honest. This Savinho thing, what else can we say about Savinho? This has been going on for well over a year, and it's, you know, becoming a bit of a laughing stock. Really, I can't understand how this deal hasn't been put to bed one way or the other. I mean, you know, let's be fair. Manchester City have more players than they can shake a stick at, and yet they're still looking for someone to take his place. I don't get it. I'd love to know what's going on behind closed doors from that. Similar scenario to Jed Spence in terms of Christian Romero. Again, another ridiculously low fee, €30 million with another 5 million. Been rejected. Absolutely got to be. But we all kind of just want him gone now. You know, if a deal's to be made, let's make the deal and move on. When you're looking at paying 50, 60 million pounds for a defender, and you can get a World Cup winning defender for 30 odd million euros, that seems a bit ridiculous to me. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm kind of at the point now where I'll just be glad to see the back of him, if I'm honest. And some really good words from De Zerbi again. So we have to find condition to build a strong team, a stronger team than last season, to compete again for the top of the table. That's what he's aiming for, the top of the table. That's where they need to spend the money. That's where they need to get the right deals in place. He believes it's going to happen. He believes that they've backed him so far, which I think they have, to be fair. And I don't think you can get it all done in one window for sure. But we are woefully, woefully short at left wing, and we are woefully, woefully short in the striking departments. Depending on what's happening with Kulu and Kudus, we could also be short on the right wing. And of course, without Xavi and Maddison, who apparently isn't injured, we are short of a playmaker as well. So there is still plenty to get done. I'm not expecting it all to be finished, but there's got to be some work in there somewhere. So for me, I still feel that there could be good work to be done, and maybe Florian Balogun could be the answer. I don't know enough about him, if I'm being honest. The most thing I know about him is that Donald Trump managed to get his red card delayed. So that's about as much as I know about the player. Anyway, listen, thanks for watching and for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. That's not easy to say. My name's Leader Dorest Spur. If you want to pop over to my channel, I'd be grateful. If not, don't worry, no problem. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, up the Spurs.